Alright, now time for the next step in our little project. If you remember, this is where we left off. We cut the taper and the shaft that our tap and die holder is going to run off of. And I think I kind of figured out how I'm going to do this. Now, my body is going to be made out of aluminum for two reasons. I have a lot more aluminum than I have steel, number one. Plus, I only have about 2.5 inches of travel in my tailstock. This is a 6-inch piece, so I'm going to have to drill in, push in the tailstock, and then keep drilling in to get to the other side. I might have to flip it around to drill all the way through this. So it's going to be a lot easier in aluminum than it is in steel. It's going to be a lot less heat generated, although this is a little bit more gummy. Also, this is 6061 T651, which is going to be plenty strong enough. I mean, they make a lot of people make airplane wings and stuff out of this, so it's good for an airplane. I think it's good for holding a die. But how we're going to do this is going to be the body. I'm going to drill and ream a hole straight through to the other side, and then we're going to bore out the end a little bit larger than the 1/2 inch diameter. And what I have here is a small Jacob's chuck. That's a 3/8 thread. I'm going to make a tang on this out of steel to be able to fit inside here and lock down with a set screw. And this is what's going to hold our taps. And here's a 1/2 inch tap. So it holds that perfectly fine. And here's a 632 tap, which is one of my smaller ones, and it's holding that perfectly fine. And this will also do another thing for you too. If any of you guys are model makers or anything like that, or you're going to be using a lot of small drill bits on the lathe. The only problem is your tailstock hand wheel. You don't have a lot of sensitivity on that when you feed it in. You end up snapping these off. So what this will also allow you to do is basically act like a giant pin vise and give you a sensitive drill, so that you'll be able to hold this, push it just by hand, and drill a hole in whatever you need, and not break your drill bits off. Now, for the die holder, most of my dies are these little 1-inch dies, and they go up. The ones I have go up to 1/2 inch, which in anything over 1/2 inch, I'll probably end up single pointing anyway. So we're gonna make, and I have a couple of these little hex ones, but not too many of them, so I'm not gonna worry about incorporating those in. And I'm gonna repurpose this piece of 12L14 here, which was my first attempt at making the compound bushing when I wasn't paying attention to my threading dial and cross-threaded myself. So I'm going to repurpose this and bore out a hole to hold the dies, and that'll be able to slide into there like that. Now, the reason why I'm going all the way through this stock with the drill and reamer is because if you don't, you're going to have to find out how far you go in, and you're going to have to drill a hole, a cross hole, to meet that hole you just drilled through it. Because when you put this through here, you need a place for the air to escape. So that's why it's going all the way through. Also, that'll give me a spot for whatever I'm threading to go inside the body here, so I can thread a longer piece. So that's pretty much the plan. I have this already faced on both sides and center drilled, and we're going to put it in the lathe and drill through this. Now, if the drill walks any in here, we're going to get run out on the outside, but the way we'll take care of that is we'll mount it between centers, and then we'll take a skim cut after we drill it. So that way there, our center hole will be concentric with our outside. I don't think it's going to walk that much. I did a test piece, a smaller test piece, and it walked maybe about 0.02 or so. And that was with flipping it over. I'm going to try to go right through this and see if that works. If it does get a little gummy, then I'm going to have to go from both sides. So we'll see what we can do. Okay, I got this set as fast as it can go. brand new drill bit in there, 135-degree split point, so hopefully we'll be able to remove as much of those chips as fast as possible, as this aluminum is a little bit gummy. I do have fresh oil on the ways in front of the tailstock in case I do have to slide it in. We'll see how we do. Alright, we broke through. I actually feel pretty concentric, surprisingly. So, flip it around to the side that we started at. And I'm going to run a 1/2-inch reamer down it. Now, my reamer is long enough to go all the way through, but obviously my tailstock isn't. So I'm just going to put the reamer in there and push the tailstock behind by hand. And that should be able to do what I want it to do. So, slow this down. check how concentric we are against the tapered slide that we made. Alright, now here's the test for everybody that was looking at that and saying what the hell's he doing, and that is completely wrong. Here's our hole, reamed, 1/2 inch. This is the longer side here that we drilled straight through. This is the part that I turned around and drilled the small piece in, so we're going to put it on this way. So now's the moment of truth. See how concentric we are. It's pretty damn even to me. Let's throw a dial indicator on there and see what we got. Okay, got a dial indicator on there. Just 2,000 to run out right there. You flip it around the other way, see if it's any different. And it's even less that way. Oh. Get a little divot where the chuck jaw was. Actually, if the chuck jaws were over here, then this way is the way, yeah. Then this is where the chuck was, this is where I flipped it around. So, about 1,000 to run out. That's more than accurate enough. This side is going to be bored anyway. Right here. This side I'll bore out to fit the sleeves that we're going to make. And then I'll just either polish out the finish on this or take a light skim cut just to get all the extrusion marks off the top of it and all the scratches and stuff. But I'm pretty happy with that. Who says you can't drill a deep hole on only a tailstock that goes 2.5 inches? A little bit of patience doesn't work half bad. And that was also the reason why I wanted to use aluminum. You can imagine how much of a pain in the ass that would have been if I did it in steel. Alright, now I'm going to repurpose that bushing that I had. So I'm going to take that hole and I'm going to bore it out enough to fit my die. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to take a skim off this. Now I'm going to take this down to 3/4 of an inch and cut it off an inch from this edge. Well, here's that repurposed bushing. You got, where's my... Fits in there nice and flush. I just have to drill a hole for the set screw in it. We're centered. The hole in this is slightly bigger than 1/2 inch, so we have this much room to thread. And comes right out. So now I just have to bore 3/4 inch hole in there, 1 inch long, to be able to receive this. I did run just a quick polish over this with some 400 grit. Got all the nicks and everything off, so good with that. Before I start boring this out to fit the holders, I wanted to indicate the actual hole that has been drilled and reamed in the middle to get it on center as best as possible. So I adjusted it, and we're within about 1/2 thousandth, which is more than enough. Just want to get everything as straight as possible. So, and that's indicating from the bore itself. And even the outside of it, if you look. The outside's still running pretty true there, so. Let me move you over to the other side. We'll bore this out 1 inch deep to 3/4 inch round. Now, the 3/4 inch bar that I'm going to be using to hold the that little Jacob's chuck is a few thousandths under 3/4 inch. It's actually 747. So I matched that. I matched the part on my die holder here. Ignore that little nick, I dropped it. I matched this collar on my die holder to the piece I'm going to be using. That way there I don't have to turn the outside of this at all. And I'll just be able to turn this down to 3/8 and thread it when we're ready. So I want this to match that, so I'll probably get this. We want a nice little sliding fit, so should be able to do this to around 750 thousandths. That should give me enough to slide in and out. And then I about 2 thousandths, 2.5 thousandths or so, to give me a nice sliding fit, to be able to put the set screw and dimple and everything in it, and be able to change these relatively easily. So that's the plan. Let's get to it. Okay, we're all set to bore this out to just shy of 3/4 inch for a length of 1 inch. Do have a dial indicator set up over here so I can get my 1 inch travel. It's on a clamp that I made. I'll show that to you when I bring the camera back over here. So. Alright. That's it. Go over to the bench and we'll mark out where we're going to put the set screw. Here's the dial indicator holder I wanted to show you real quick. I made this on a mill. I have access to a mill through a class one night a week, so I made this, and all it is it's a block of aluminum that's milled square. Then I made a template one second. Made a template of what my carriage looks like. The V-ways. This is a 1/2 inch 45-degree angle, and got a backing clamp on the bottom here that is just long enough to touch the carriage rack and be able to clamp down tight, just like that. Screw in the bottom. I'm going to change this out with a hand knob, and same thing on the top. But all that is to, if you can clamp right through it, and you can put a 3/8 stem dial indicator in here, or you could turn yourself just a 3/8 rod, use it as a plain carriage stop. And I was thinking of maybe getting a micrometer head and making another one of these, and just having the micrometer head go right through it and have a mic'd depth stop. And that's basically it. Works really well. So our, excuse the mess on the table here, but this is pretty much what we got. I faced off the center hole on this so it wouldn't catch any chips, and it will also be able to, it's below that shoulder in there, and that fits in there nice. I just had to take just a hair more off and square up that inside corner in there to get this to go. So we're going to want to drill 1 or 2 set screws here into the top and dimple this to line up with our set screw holes, so that way it can't turn. And we're also, which I already have marked, I don't know if you can see that little punch right there. I have 2 types of dies here. I have these and this. This one you can see has 2 set screws and then a slot in the middle, so the slot's easy to get going. You could just slide it in, it doesn't matter the depth of the screw. But these other ones just have a dimple, so I measured to the middle of the dimples on them and marked it out on this, so I'll be able to take both. So those, for whatever reason, this one has them. They do come right out though. This one has actually a piece of crud stuck on it, so it doesn't fit, or it doesn't sit flush. But this one sits nice and flush, and then these ones here fit in there. These ones are slightly looser than these. These are made in, should be made in US. I think one, you got a set of Ace and a set of Handy dies. Yeah, these ones are made in the US. These other ones here are made in China. So these are a little bit, not by much, maybe 1,000, a couple of thousandths smaller, but I don't think it'll really affect anything. And then we'll have that set screw in the top. And the set screw is going to be this cap head screw, 832. And all I'm going to do to the very end of it, go on the grinder and dome it so that it fits nice in that slot and nice in that dimple. So I'm going to go over to the drill press set up, drill this and tap this, and then we'll be able to actually use, after I knurl this, use this to make the stud for this. Tool to make a tool.